guys, in the last video we imported the monsters incorporated to our game engine, adding the player and the camera, making solid, setting up animations to our character. In this video we will continue to finish our game. So let's begin. I made 4 obstacles for this game using Blender, the scream canisters from the first video, the second obstacle a small wall, the third obstacle larger wall. And notice that they are separate objects, so when we collide with them in the game, we can make a breaking effect. And I also made a Monsters Inc. coin. Now let's export everything as FBX file and import it to Unity. Let's add the small obstacle to our scene and also add the texture made for it in Blender. Let's adjust the rotation and the position, also the scale of the obstacle, and put it in the right place. Let's add the scream canisters to our scene and adjust its position too. Now we add the final obstacle to our scene and put it in the right place, adjust the rotation and the scale. And test our game. Perfect. Now let's add a box collider and a rigid body to our scream canister and duplicate it. In Blender, the obstacles were separate objects, so we can make a breaking effect. We will remove the rigid body and the box collider from the duplicated version and adding to its children rigid body and mesh collider with convex on, making prefab out of the duplicated version. Now every object has a rigid body, so when we collide with it, it breaks. And let's add a C# script to our original obstacle and call it destructible. Open up Visual Studio to start writing our code. The script will be simple. Public game object destroyed version to reference to duplicated version of the obstacle, void on collision to check for collisions if the other collider with the tag equal to player. Then instantiate the destroyed version, transform position, transform.rotation, and destroy the game object, which is the original obstacle. Adding the player tag to the character and the parent game object, the player, and reference the destroyed version of the obstacle to our script, and test the game. Very good, it didn't work. That's because we wrote the player wrong in our script. Now it should work. Awesome! Let's repeat the same process to the other obstacles. We can use this script many times as we want to any original obstacle. We finished setting up our obstacles. Now let's go back to add conditions to our transitions. We will create a boolean parameter and name it collide and set the condition true to the both transitions from running and jumping, and create a new boolean parameter and name it falling and set condition also true on both the transitions from jumping and running. Now let's go back to Visual Studio to tell our game when the animations will start. When our player falls below -5 on the y-axis, we want to play the falling animation, so set boolean falling to true and save the script. In the void on collision function, when our player collides with the obstacle, we want to play the collide animation by setting boolean collide to true and then calling the dying function and save the script. I will create a new tag and call it obstacle and add the tag to our obstacles. Let's test the game to see if it does actually work. The animation of colliding works perfectly. Let's check the falling animation. Great! Now the time has come to create our first level, so let's do it. You can instantiate the obstacles during his run, but I thought it is easier to do it manually by yourself. Let's test our game. The game already looks cool. Let's continue setting up our obstacles. Let's add the coin we made in Blender to our scene and scale it, adjust its position as well its rotation, and make prefab out of it. Let's test our game to see if the coin suits well in it. The size of the coin is fine. Let's add some components to our coin, a capsule collider and the C# script named coins. Open up Visual Studio. Let's delete the start method, we don't need it. We will create a speed variable and in the update method transform.rotate that will rotate our coin 90 degrees on the z-axis multiplied by the speed. The void on trigger enter will bring information about the object that triggered the coin, which is the player in this case, and then it will destroy the coin. On the capsule collider, we must also put the trigger on. Now, when Sully touches the coin, it will be destroyed. Let's create an empty game object and call it coins. It will be parent to all the coins that we will duplicate in our game. Now, we will set up the coins in our environment. The game looks amazing. Everything is working perfectly. Let's duplicate our scene to create a new level and call it level 2. We want this level to be in the dark mode, so let's delete all the directional lights we've made. Instead, I will add a point light below the lamp with intensity 5, adjust the position, and create an empty game object, call it point lights, and let it be parent to all the point lights that we will duplicate to the other lamps. The time has come to set up the obstacles and the coins in a different way so it doesn't seem like the first level. Now, the time has come to test the game. I have to say, I like this one better than the first level. Everything is good, let's save this level and return to level 1. I will reduce the player's speed to 5 to make this level easier to play. And there you have it, the first ever Monsters Inc. running game. The game still needs a lot of work. A small example, like covering the holes in our environment. However, we did a great job building this game. Thanks everybody for watching and have a good day.